Well, Sandy Chong is the CEO of the Australian Hairdressing Council and says hairdressers in Victoria have been waiting for some direction about what the renewed lockdown will mean for them. Under today's announcement, they'll be forced to close. Sandy Chong joins me now live. Good evening, Sandy. Can you tell me what your reaction is to this announcement today from Premier Andrews?
Look, I think that the majority of the industry will be really pleased, I think, to finally get a government directive as to whether they're open or closed. I think that we are very concerned about the mental health of many of our businesses, as well as being exposed to corona as well. We're worried about the mental health of the business owners and also their staff. And with many of these businesses, they've been really concerned about losing clients, losing staff and losing their businesses. So on one hand, it's really sad, and I know that you've been through it before, to see that our hairdressing salons will close from Wednesday night at midnight, so Thursday. On the other hand, it's at least finally given them a directive, a definite directive as to what is happening over the next 6 weeks. From a small business perspective, though, a couple of things. We do need to seek more clarification on sole traders, because there's a little bit of sort of grey area there as to whether sole traders can also operate. And then the other thing too is just what kind of other, help being in business will our small businesses get, in particular when it comes to the commercial leasing scheme or when it comes to payroll tax. And also too, with the grant, it's great that they're being given $10,000 all up, and regional areas $5,000. But it's how quickly will they get that, because cash flow is really going to be a concern right now.
Absolutely. Just to head back to the sole traders point that you've made there, Sandy, is there a possibility that they could be exempt and people could still get their hair done if it's a one-on-one situation?
Well, it's interesting because the documentation that I've been sent through, it doesn't specifically say hairdressers. It just says exempt will be sole traders. And it is much easier to control your area, your space, when it comes to work health and safety or your COVID procedures when it's just one-on-one. And we've always said all along that that is much easier to control compared to a business where you've got 5 or 6 staff and you've got, members of the public walking in and out. So we are seeking more clarification on that. It is a bit of a grey area, but that is a possibility right now, looking at the paperwork that I've just seen. But it's not, 100% confirmed, so that's something that I need to get back to ASAP.
What are small business owners telling you overall about how they're likely to fare during this lockdown, especially with the support that's being offered? Well, I think that for any small business owner, and I'm a small business owner as well, then there is the fear of losing your business. There are some businesses that will not get through this 6 weeks for sure. And so I think also to losing staff, not every business were able to get JobKeeper. So, those payments were $1,500 a fortnight coming from the government. And so if you were eligible, then you got JobKeeper. But there were some employees who are not eligible for JobKeeper, including the visa workers. If you're from New Zealand, you are. But if you're from overseas, then you're not eligible for JobKeeper. And therefore, there's a possibility that you're going to lose your staff, a high possibility of that. And Melbourne has a lot of visa workers too, by the way. So employment, not being able to pay your bills, your invoices, pay your rent, they're all small business concerns at the moment, just getting through this next 6 weeks. Is there an overall feeling, though, Sandy, that today's restrictions and ramp up, it was necessary? Absolutely. I think that, we look at this second wave and it's so much worse than our first wave. And unfortunately, there's been so many, people who are just not taking this seriously, that are out and about. And they've made it very clear that, the COVID has spread because there are those who have had their tests and while they're waiting for the results, they've been out and about. And so many have just not taken it seriously. So it's now time to clamp down and just try and get control of this. So unfortunately, we've gone into the stage 4. It could have been avoided if everybody did the right thing. But, at the end of the day, in my position, I think that the safety of our businesses, of our business owners, our staff and our communities is number one. And even though I know a lot of business will suffer, We have to think about our families, and we have to think about each other's health. That has to come first. So, I think that it's necessary at this point to be stage 4, but thank God it's not regional Victoria. It is just the city in the metro and Mitchell.
Hey, Sandy, thank you so much for your time and best of luck. That was Sandy Chong, the CEO of the Australian Hairdressing Council.